Hello everyone. Alright, today is Wednesday. I'm going to go over the do now and then I'm going to go through the teaching. So for integers, -4 plus 3 and -4 minus -3, this is going to be -1 and this is also going to be -1. These two negatives here turn into a plus. Now multiplying fractions, multiply straight across. It's going to be -3 over 20, -3 times 1 and 4 times 5. For dividing fractions, take the second fraction, flip it, and then multiply straight across. It's going to be -1 over 28. Now for here, for solving for x, there's just one more step we got to do before we solve for x. Let's combine these like terms. There are 3 x's here and 2 x's here, so that's going to be a total of 5 x's plus 2 is equal to -6. Now we're going to take care of the addition or subtraction first. Subtract 2 from both sides. That gives me 5x is equal to -8. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 5. These cancel. X is equal to -8 over 5. Now if you left it like that, that's fine. Or you can divide it and it would be -1.6. Can you see that? I think you can. Okay. Identify the shape below. Well, there's rectangles around this hexagonal base. So it's going to be a hexagonal. And I know that there's 2 bases here, and they don't meet up at a single point, so it's going to be a hexagonal prism. Solve for the volume of the figure below. So this is 723 meters. Now the step 1 is to solve for the base. So I'm going to go ahead and shade in the base here. It's this triangle right here. I'll shade it a little bit better. Okay, so it's this triangle right here. And if I kind of pull it out of this triangular pyramid, I'm going to show you. Let's see. Well, sorry, this is a right angle right there. But this length right here is 3 meters. And right here is 2 meters. Well, it doesn't look too realistic, but that's okay. 3 and 2. So now the area for a base is going to be base times height divided by 2. And so the base is going to be here, this 3. So it's going to be 3, and the height is 2. And then divide by 2, which gives me 6 over 2, which gives me 3. So the area of the base is going to be 3. Now I should start with this. The volume of a pyramid is going to be base times height divided by 3. So the reason why this is the first step, this right here is the base. So we're going to solve for this area of the base first. Second step, we're going to multiply the base times the height. And this b is the area of the base. We saw that that's 3. So it's going to be 3 times how tall it is, which is going to be 7. So 3 times 7, and that's going to be 21. Now our last step is to divide by 3. Divide by 3. So 21 divided by 3 is equal to 7 meters cubed. So the volume is going to be 7 meters cubed. Okay, that's a 3. Okay. Now, moving right along, this is the first skill. If you could please stop and answer the few quiz questions on integers. I need to know who knows how to add and subtract integers. Please make sure that you do answer those questions. If you do not answer them, I'm going to be giving you just some extra work just so I can make sure that you know how to add and subtract integers. So I'll probably give you 2 or 3 questions. Please answer all of them. Okay, we're moving right along. Guided practice, I'm going to go over 1G and 2G. Mr. Corbett was making a rectangular pyramid to dedicate to his 7th grade students. The length was 4.5 feet, the width was 2 feet, and the height was 10 feet. What was the volume of the pyramid? So it's going to look something like this. This is going to be the net of it right here. If I draw a 3D figure, the length is going to be 4.5. The width is going to be 2, So here's 4.5, and here's 2. And then the height of it, this length right here that goes all the way to the center from the vertex, or this top apex, this right here is going to be 10 feet. Okay, now to solve for the volume of a pyramid, the first step is going to be solve for the big B, the area of the base, which is, I'm going to use my orange, this right here. And remember, we're always having this formula in mind, base times height divided by 3. We're solving for this area of the base first, this big B. Okay, so now we have 4.5 times 2. Now I purposely put it in a decimal because I know a lot of you are having trouble and I need to make sure that I can teach this. So the way that I would do this is you can treat this like 4.5 times 2.0. You can actually just go ahead and treat it like, oops, that's supposed to be here, 45 times 20. And you move the decimal places 2 places over, so I know I need to move 2 decimal places when I get my answer back. Okay. And also just to estimate what my answer should be around, 4.5, rounded is going to be about 9. 2.0 is 2. Oh, sorry, not 9, sorry. It's about 5. So if I multiply 5 times 2, it's going to be 10. So my answer is going to need to be around 10. Okay, so we've got 100 and 800 plus 900. So I get my answer, and it's 900. Well, 4.5 times 2, it's not going to be 900. That seems way too big, but remember we have to move it over 2 decimal places, and that makes it 9.00 or just 9. And my answer is also close to the approximation 10, so that's a nice check as well. So the answer is going to be 9. Now, that's our first step. Second step is to multiply base and height. That's this part right here. So I'm going to multiply the 9 times the height, which is 10, and that gives me 90. Okay, and the last part is to divide by 3. So 90 divided by 3 is going to be 30. So the answer is 30 feet cubed. There we go. So in summary, solve for the B, which is this, the area of the base. This was just length times width. And then you need to multiply it by the height, which was going to be 9 times 10. 10 was the height of it. And then divide by 3. Okay. Mr. Santa was making a square pyramid to dedicate to his 7th grade students. The height was 30 feet, and one of the sides measured 5 feet. What was the volume of the pyramid? Okay, so the only thing that's different about this is they give the information that it is a square pyramid. Square pyramid. Okay, so I think that's going to be important information. So the height is going to be 30 feet. Okay, and then one side is going to be 5 feet, but I know that the other side is also going to be 5 feet because what is true about a square? Here's an example of a square, right there. Well, it doesn't really look square from maybe it's not. But a square has all sides equal to each other. So I know if this is 5, then this also has to be 5. So let's write our formula. Volume is equal to big B times height. This is the area of the base times the height of the entire pyramid divided by 3. So the big B, that's our first step. Solve for the area of the base. Solve for B, the big B. So it's going to be 5 times 5 is equal to 25. Step 2, multiply B and the height. So that's going to be 25 times 30. So I'll go ahead and do that multiplication right in this corner. 25 times 30. 3 times 5 is 115, but a placeholder of 0, and 600. that's 750. Now, last step, we're going to divide by 3. So 750 divided by 3. 3 goes into 7 2 times. That's 6 and 5 and 250. So the answer is 250 feet cubed. 250 feet cubed. Okay, so go ahead now, do 1S and 2S, and don't forget, please record these answers in the Edpuzzle video. Thank you very much. Okay, ratios. If you could please get out your composition notebook. Ratios definition is a comparison between two quantities. Two quantities. What's a quantity, you may ask? Well, this is like the number of items. Another word that you might see is proportion. Proportion you might see as well. So examples, I'm actually going to go ahead and write these two examples here. What is the ratio of cows to fish? And then here, this is what is the ratio of cows to total animals. Now, there are two different types of ratios. There's part to part, and there is part to whole. Now, I'm going to go ahead and briefly draw the cows and the fish. I know I draw cows really, really bad, but that's a cow. That is a cow. I'm going to draw it kind of how they are in the picture, or the same number of each. 1, 2, 3. How many legs do cows have? Okay. It looks like a weird alien with like this is the tentacles, but you're just going to have to deal with it, I guess. Okay. So that more or less is what 1G looks like. So the part-to-part is similar to, is 1G problem, and then part-to-whole is the 2G problem. And it is the exact same. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh God. Where's its head? There's its head. That's a dog. Okay. Yikes. This fish actually is the Hawaiian state fish. It's called Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a. No, I did not stutter. Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a. Took me a while to learn it. It's spelled. Oops, here we go. Sorry, lost track. It's spelled Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Nuku. Uh-oh, I'm losing room. Apua'a. This little apostrophe here, this little apostrophe is like a brick. So it's Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Humu Nuku Nuku, and then the last part is just different. Apua'a. Apua'a. Okay. And this means in Hawaiian pig-like snout. So if you look at the pictures, it has a pig-like snout. That's what it's named after. Okay, so part to part. Now, how many cows are there? Well, there's 1, 2 weird-looking cows. So there's 2 cows, and then how many fish are there? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 fish. So the question asks, what is the ratio of cows to fish? Write the ratio in 3 different ways in simplest form. So the ratio is, you can write it 3 different ways. You can write 2 to 4, like this. You can write it as 2:4, which means the same thing. 2 to 4, this means 2. And the last way is you can leave it as a fraction like this. So this way is writing it out This way is using a colon, and this way is fraction. The best way is fraction. I like fraction. Okay, but these are the three different ways. But it asks for the simplest form. So if we look at the fraction, that's probably the best way to see that 2/4 can be reduced to 1/2. So we can, in simplest form, the correct answer to this problem is going to be 1/2, 1 to 2, or 1 to 2. So this is written out, this is using a colon, and this is a fraction. Okay, now this one right here. So this was part to part. This was cows to fish. Now this is going to be part to whole, and the question says cows to total number of animals. So total animals. Okay, so how many cows? It's the same number of weird looking alien cows. And the total number of animals, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 fishes, but there's also 2 cows. So the total number of animals is going to be 6. So writing it out, it'd be 2 to 6, 2 to 6, and 2/6. But in simplified form, it's going to be, we can look at this fraction first, 2/6. If I divide both the numerator and the denominator both by 2, that gives me 1/3. So it's going to be 1/3, 1 to, excuse me, 3, and 1 to 3. All right, the last one I'm going to go over. So that's ratios. Comparison. You can compare parts, or you can compare part to the whole. Lastly, this is 3D. This is the last problem I'm going to go over. What is the ratio of tablespoons of white sugar to cubes of crushed ice? So I'll make this purple. This is one quantity, the number of some items, 2 cubes of crushed ice. Notice how we've got a 2 here. So that's like the colon, basically, or just the 2. So let's do white sugar, and then cubes of ice. Okay, it's hard to see, but you can probably look at your own. There's 6 cubes, excuse me, let's start with the white sugar. Here there's 3 tablespoons of white sugar, and there's 6 cubes of ice. So, what are the 3 different ways I can do it? Well, I can do 3 to 6, 3:6, 3 to 6, and then lastly, so this is writing it out, this is using a colon, and this is 3 to 6, and then fraction, 3/6. Now I can simplify this fraction if I divide both the numerator and the denominator by 3, which gives me 1/2. So the 3 different ways I can write as a fraction, 1/2, so that's 1 white sugar to 2 cubes of ice. I can do 1:2, and I can do 1 to 2. So these here are my 3 answers. All right. Thank you very much, everyone.